Hello and welcome everyone. In this module, I'm going to take you through the different parts that make up AlgoKit. As the name suggests, AlgoKit is actually a toolkit, a suite of tools that you can reach into and grab the tool that is going to best serve you and your projects as you're building them. And hopefully you'll be able to find all the tools that you need in order to take you from idea right up through development and testing, all the way to deploying your project in production. So let's take a look at what all of these tools look like before we take a deeper dive into each one in a later module. All right, so first we have the development step. You're going to be able to reach in and choose the language that you are most comfortable with, whether it be Algorand Python or Algorand TypeScript. And these are some of the most ubiquitous languages out there. So hopefully, if you're watching this, you already know one of these languages and are quite familiar with their syntax nuances. And if that's the case, you should be able to get right up and running, writing syntactic Python or TypeScript, and you'll get all of the benefits of your ID being able to help you autocomplete and IntelliSense and so on and so forth, making this super accessible for you. Next, you're going to take a look at LoRa. LoRa is the explorer that we have, and that explorer is going to be able to look at your local instance of a blockchain, as well as testnet and mainnet. So it will be your tool in interacting with the blockchain as you are moving through all of the different phases of your project. And it has a whole suite of amazing tools built into it that help you interact and test and poke and prod your smart contract each step of the way before you deploy it fully to mainnet. Next, we have the CLI tool. The CLI, as the name suggests, is a command line interface in which you can use to initiate your project with a simple command, AlgoKit init. It's going to walk you through a few steps, and through that configuration step, you're going to bootstrap and create a project scaffolded out, ready for you to use and get to coding. Now, the utils is probably one of the most diverse pieces of this toolkit. It's where a lot of the heavy lifting is going to take place. We have utils that are going to help you create transactions, sign those transactions, submit those transactions, interact with the blockchain in various different ways. The utils is going to be a kind of jack of all trades tool for you to utilize. Then you're going to take a look at the subscriber tool. This is going to help you if you have a reactive kind of front end, or if your application needs to continually pull the smart contract or the blockchain for that matter for new information as it's coming about, as people are interacting with it and then providing feedback in your front end. You're going to be able to subscribe to certain events on the blockchain and then have your front end reflect that. We also have ready to go VS Code configurations to, again, take a lot of the thinking out of it. We have essentially an IDE set up, figured out for you so that you can come in and focus on your business logic. Along those same lines, we have templates, which are kind of batteries included, so to speak, templates that is going to be a continually growing library based on the needs and feedback that we get from our developer community. But you're going to see quite shortly that we have a Hello World template that is going to scaffold an entire project out for you, ready for you to start implementing your business logic. And along with that same kind of idea, we have a bootstrap tool that as you're going through the initialization of your project, there are certain dependencies that you're going to need and libraries that you're going to need installed. And we take care of all of that for you through the simple bootstrap command. And so when you get into your project, VS Code opens up for you. You're essentially ready to start coding within moments. Next up, you're going to do some developing. You're going to think of some great ideas. You're going to implement them in code. You're probably going to want to deploy them on a local network. Before you get out into the wild and put your application out into a testnet or mainnet where everybody can interact with it, you're going to want to do some local testing. And so we have an amazing tool along with Docker that sets up all the containers that you need to run a local version of the Algorand blockchain on your own machine. It is essentially the same as the Algorand blockchain that is running out in the wild on the testnet and the mainnet. And so everything you're running on your local net is sure to be able to run on the testnet and mainnet later on. And so you can spin this up, you can reconfigure it if you want to change the block times or make little tweaks specifically for your testing needs. But that is a tool at your disposal to build and test quickly before moving on to the next phases of your project. Likewise, you're going to also be able to actually run some formal tests for your project. And so we have some very familiar tools. If you're used to Python and TypeScript, from unit testing all the way to integration testing, we have some frameworks already scaffolded out for you that you can utilize and go in and make the adjustments that suit your use case. You can run those tests as often as you need, again, using the CLI tool that we discussed earlier. And then we have the AVM debugger in case there's any issues with the opcodes that you're calling through your contract and you need to actually step through what is happening on the AVM level. We're able to do that with the AVM debugger. Once you're ready to move to testnet, you're going to need some test algo in order to pay for transactions and MBR, et cetera. And so there is a testnet dispenser tool there for you to request those algo so that you can use those in testing. Lastly, but not least, we're going to want to deploy these applications, whether it be to your local net, testnet, or the mainnet. And so the AlgoKit deploy tool is easy to configure to the environment in which you're ready to deploy to. And with a few keystrokes and an environment variable file, you're able to use the AlgoKit tool to deploy your project. And then once it's out there living in the wild, we have some CI/CD templates ready for you to utilize if you want to quickly deploy, test, and or make some changes to your applications. You can rely on those CI/CD templates right out of the gate. And that is a high-level overview of all of the pieces that exist within the AlgoKit toolkit for you to utilize in your development journey. And we're open for more feedback if there is something missing or some nuance that we've missed for you. We're happy to receive that feedback and we can get new features added in as we go along. But hopefully this gives you a great overview of all the tools that are available for you. And in later sessions, we're going to go deeper into each of these and see them more in action. Until next time, take care, folks.